New York runs the biggest Medicaid transportation program in the country. A quarter of all NEMT spending nationwide happens right here. Over 7 million New Yorkers are on Medicaid. That's 35% of the state's population. But here's what makes New York different. Since August 2023, one broker controls every single Medicaid trip in the entire state. Medical Answering Services, or MAS for short. They decide who gets trips. They set the rules. They monitor everything. If MAS doesn't like your operation, trip volume dies overnight. If they do, seven-figure fleet off one contract. Welcome to NEMT, the place where NEMT entrepreneurs like you come to build empires. Hey NEMT Nation, we're unlocking New York's NEMT system today, revealing exactly how MAS assigns trips, what compliance requirements separate approved operators from rejected ones, where the real money hides beyond Medicaid base rates, and why NYC versus upstate operations require completely different strategies. You'll learn how to build facility partnerships that give you preferred provider status, how to structure your transportation provider profile to maximize trip assignments, and the insurance and vehicle requirements that destroy unprepared operators before they run their first trip. New York is the biggest NEMT market in America. Number one, why New York is both the best and worst NEMT market. Let's start with the good news. The demand here is insane. New York has about 260 to 270 hospitals, 600 plus nursing homes, and 330 Medicare-certified dialysis centers, serving around 31,000 patients statewide. That's constant, year-round demand for transportation. Dialysis, chemo, rehab appointments, they don't stop for holidays or winter. In snowy upstate regions, NEMT providers are often the only safe option for patients who can't navigate harsh weather. And here's the other advantage. MAS oversees Medicaid transportation across all 10 regions of New York State. One broker means one set of rules. Once you learn the MAS system, you can operate anywhere in the state. Now the bad news. Medicaid rates are terrible. While MAS gives you steady trip volume, reimbursement rates are often low, with strict scheduling and documentation requirements. Let's be honest, MAS trips only equals a fragile, low-margin job, not a business. Most successful operators, they use Medicaid as base volume and make real money on private pay, facility contracts, and wheelchair transport. So you can absolutely thrive here. You just need to understand how. Number two, understanding MAS. The first thing you need to master? MAS. Medical Answering Services is the central Medicaid transportation broker for the entire state. Started in 2004 in Onondaga County, they now control all 62 counties. But what does MAS actually do for your operation? They schedule trips, verify patient eligibility, decide which provider gets which trip, monitor compliance, process billing, handle complaints. Everything goes through them. The thing, MAS doesn't provide transportation themselves. The New York State Department of Health contracts with MAS to offer transportation management services. You contract with MAS to get trips. So, how do they assign trips? 3 ways. First, patient preference. If a Medicaid patient requests you specifically, you get the trip. Second, facility preference. If a hospital or dialysis center has a preferred provider list and you're on it, you get priority. Third, rotation. When a patient or medical provider doesn't express a choice, MAS uses computerized random selection from providers that service the area and have capacity. Here's the key. Your reputation with patients and facilities matters more than anything. You have 3 goals. 1. Build repeat riders who request you by name. 2. Secure 3 to 5 facility partnerships that put you on their preferred lists. Treat rotation as bonus volume, not your primary source. 80% of your trips from rotation, you're at the mercy of the algorithm. 80% of your trips from preference, you control your flow. Number 3, the MAS contract process. The MAS contract process is where everything starts for new providers in New York. Setting up your business, getting certified, and building your transportation provider profile so you can actually start getting trips assigned. So, first step is business setup. You need a legal business entity registered in New York, LLC or corporation, federal EIN, business license from your local county. Basic stuff. Next is Medicaid provider enrollment. To serve Medicaid recipients, you need certification from the New York State Medicaid office. This means meeting specific vehicle, driver, and insurance requirements. Then you set up your transportation provider profile, TPP. Think of it as your operations dashboard. Keeping it up to date helps MAS know your capacity and shows them you're ready and able to take on trips in the NEMT network. Your TPP lists every vehicle you operate, every driver you employ, your service area, your available hours, your capacity. MAS uses this to assign trips. If your TPP says you only run 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, you won't get evening or weekend trips, even if you want them. Number 4, driver requirements that destroy unprepared operators. With your business set up, certified, and your TPP ready, you're officially in the MAS system. But being listed isn't enough. To actually move patients safely and stay compliant, MAS has strict driver requirements you need to meet. Let's break down what's expected from the people behind the wheel. Age minimums vary by location. In most parts of New York, drivers must be at least 25 years old. However, in New York City, the minimum age is 19. Valid New York State driver's license required. No temporary licenses, no out-of-state licenses, and a clean driving record and successful background check are mandatory. Some employers require drivers to be at least 21 years old and to have held their license for at least 3 years. Next thing, training. And this is more specific. The Passenger Assistance Safety and Sensitivity Program, known as PASS, is a key certification for NEMT drivers in New York. This program equips drivers with the skills needed to assist passengers with disabilities effectively. Vehicle safety, customer service, maintenance procedures, and emergency response protocols. If providers prefer to train drivers under a different safety education program, they have that option. But MAS requires it to be as extensive, if not more, than the PASS program. Additional required training includes CPR, first aid, and special needs assistance training. HIPAA compliance training to protect patient privacy. Traditionally, NEMT drivers submitted license information to the New York State DMV License Event Notification Service program. While this is still required, MAS requires operators to input additional driver information into the MAS system to complete further checks. It's essential to periodically review and validate certifications. If drivers are found without credentials, the provider's operating license may be suspended or revoked. Number 5, vehicle requirements and insurance. Vehicle requirements for your operation are straightforward but strict. Vehicles you operate must be registered and inspected according to New York State regulations. Annual DMV inspections are mandatory. Your vehicle must pass safety and emissions standards. If you're operating wheelchair-accessible vehicles, you need additional certification for wheelchair lifts and securement systems. These must comply with ADA standards and New York State Department of Health requirements. All wheelchair-accessible vehicles in your fleet must have approved 4-point securement systems. These tie-down systems must meet federal crash standards. MAS will verify this during your enrollment and can audit your fleet anytime. Lifts must be inspected annually by certified technicians. Operate a vehicle with a non-functional or expired lift certification. Your trips get suspended immediately. This is where costs jump. You need general liability insurance covering third-party injuries and property damage. Minimum $1 million per occurrence. Commercial auto insurance covers vehicles in case of accidents, theft, or damage. This is separate from general liability. Professional liability insurance protects against claims of negligence or inadequate service. Workers' comp is required for employees. The rates in New York are higher than in most states. Expect to pay $8,000 to $15,000 per van annually for full insurance coverage in New York. NYC operators pay the higher end. Upstate operators pay closer to $8,000 to $10,000. Hold on. If you're planning the launch in New York or expand your existing operation, you need the State Launch Readiness Checklist. It covers every MAS compliance requirement, facility partnership strategy, and cost breakdown specific to New York's broker system. This is what operators use to avoid the 90-day delays and rejected applications that kill most startups. Grab it for free from the link in the description. All right, back to the list. Number 6, NYC versus Upstate. The next question becomes, where in New York are you running your operation? Because NYC and Upstate, they aren't just different zip codes. They're completely different businesses with unique challenges and opportunities. Downstate means NYC, Long Island, and Westchester. Dense populations, high trip volume, and a concentration of hospitals and dialysis centers. This creates opportunities for scale and private pay diversification. But it comes with challenges: traffic congestion, parking restrictions, tolls, and higher insurance costs. But the volume is there. You can run 15 to 20 trips per vehicle per day in a dense market. Your driver picks up a dialysis patient in the Bronx at 6 a.m., drops them at the center by 7 a.m., picks up 2 more patients within 3 miles for 9 a.m. appointments. 3 trips before 10 a.m., all within a 5-mile radius. The key? Efficiency. Multi-loading. Putting multiple patients going to the same facility in one vehicle. That becomes your profit strategy. Upstate is the opposite. Lower operating costs, fewer competitors, and strong opportunities to build community relationships. However, lower population density can mean longer trips and higher deadhead mileage. Upstate includes Albany, Syracuse, Rochester, Buffalo, and rural counties. Gas is cheaper, insurance is cheaper, no tolls, no parking nightmares, but trips are longer. A dialysis run might be 30 miles each way. You're spending more time per trip with fewer total trips available. The advantage? Less competition. Build relationships with local facilities and you become their go-to provider. In rural areas, you might be the only reliable option for wheelchair transport within 50 miles. Top NEMT companies know one size doesn't fit all. They adjust their fleets and dispatch methods to fit each region, squeezing the most efficiency out of both markets. Now, which market should you choose? NYC if you can handle higher costs, you thrive in fast-paced environments, you can master multi-loading, and you want maximum trip volume. Upstate if you prefer relationship-based business, you can handle longer trips with lower frequency, you want lower overhead, and you can dominate smaller markets with less competition. Number 7, your New York launch roadmap. If your fleet is ready to roll in New York, here's the roadmap. Step 1. Start by picking your market. Focus on one first before trying to tackle both. Step 2. Get your business set up. Form your LLC or corporation, grab your EIN and NY tax ID, and enroll as a Medicaid provider. Give yourself 60 to 90 days for approval. It takes time. Step 3. Lock in insurance and vehicles. You'll need commercial auto, general liability, professional liability, and workers' comp. Budget $8,000 to $15,000 per vehicle per year, more in NYC. Make sure every vehicle passes inspections and wheelchair securement standards, and get written confirmation that your coverage meets MAS rules. Step 4. Start building your driver team early. Hire drivers who meet age requirements, complete PASS or similar safety training, and get CPR, first aid, and HIPAA certified. Submit their info to MAS and DMV Lens so they're ready to go. Step 5. Set up your transportation provider profile. List vehicles, drivers, service areas, and hours. If you want evenings or weekends, show it there. Keep it updated as your fleet grows. Step 6. Start building facility partnerships from day one. Target a handful of dialysis centers, nursing homes, or hospitals, and aim to become their preferred provider. MAS rotation is extra volume. Your main trips should come from these direct relationships. New York is the biggest NEMT market in America because of massive demand, a huge Medicaid population, and constant need. But it's not easy money. The operators who succeed here do 3 things. They master MAS compliance from day one. They build direct relationships with facilities to get off Medicaid-only dependency. And they pick their market. NYC, or upstate, and optimize everything for that specific environment. That's how you win in New York. Before you apply for MAS certification or invest in your first vehicle, download the State Launch Readiness Checklist. It walks through the complete New York setup process, from MAS enrollment to facility partnership templates to the exact insurance requirements that meet broker standards. This is what prepared operators use to launch profitably instead of burning cash on avoidable mistakes. Free, link in the description. We've documented this entire New York expansion process step by step inside our NEMT field systems. If you're moving from understanding to actual execution in the New York market, the implementation tools are already built. You'll find those linked below. This is NEMT. Welcome to the Empire. If this breakdown helped you understand how to actually operate in New York, hit the like button. Subscribe for state-specific NEMT intelligence, and let us know, which one do you prefer, NYC or upstate?